call to order the Monday, November 17th, 2025 Granville County Board of Commissioners meeting. And I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. Sometimes things go smooth, sometimes they don't. We had to work our way through it. But at any rate, if you will, please join me in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, I humbly come before you asking for your forgiveness for my shortcomings and for all the things I do that's not pleasing in your eye. I appreciate all the blessings you've bestowed on me and each and every one of us here. I hope you will lead our audience to have an open ear to hear and understand what we're trying to say, because as you know very well, quite often my heart and my mouth don't match up too good, and I appreciate your patience with me. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for everyone here. Bless us as we go forward in this meeting and help us get by all the glitches and overcome any obstacles we have to. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen. And now, if you will, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And our first item of business is the approval of the agenda. And there is a walk-in item related to item 13, and we will refer to it as item 13.1. That's to amend the resolution, revise and authorized opioid settlement strategy for NC Harm Reduction Coalition, and to summarize, the NCHRC agenda item 13 is revised to remove references to the distribution of syringes and contraceptives. Because of these revisions, the board is correspondingly amending resolution to strategy for the reference strategy from syringe services program strategy number 9 to Naloxone distribution services strategy number 7. Item 13 has been revised and referred to as 13.2, and approval of the agreement with North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition for expenditure of opioid settlement funds. So we have that item for to be added to our agenda. And gentlemen, is there any other items?
Mr. Chair, under the consent agenda, but I'll wait till you approve the agenda.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Our next is our consent agenda, and I believe there's a question about item 2.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to pull item 2 for full board review and place it to, I believe, under another designated number, likely under item 16 after development services update. Drop it in there, or we can do it under other matters.
Okay.
I'll second Commissioner May's.
To drop it to item 16?
Yes, sir.
16A?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
So there's no confusion, because it doesn't have anything to do with development services, I'm going to request that be amended to go to any other matters, item 24.
Okay.
And I'll second that amended motion.
All right.
Not a motion.
We'll officially move into item 24, pending any more discussion. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 2 in the consent agenda is now moved to item 24. Okay, and as for the consent agenda, does anyone have any, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Thank you.
I second.
And we have a second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. The consent agenda as amended is approved. And now we go to introductions, recognitions, and presentations. And first one is Miss Wendy Tatum, Granville County Local Foods Coordinator. And the presenter here is Selena McCoy.
Well, good evening, y'all. I think most of you are very, very aware of Miss Wendy Tatum, but tonight we are here to formally recognize Wendy Tatum as a 100% funded Granville County employee in our local foods coordinator position. She previously worked with us through NC-A&T State University, where she was known as the Food and Built Environment Associate, doing a lot of the same work. In her current role, she focuses a lot on local foods development and availability for customers across the county, as well as the Farm to Fridge program, and of course, the Oxford Armory Farmers Market. We are very pleased to present her this evening.
I just want to say thank you for all of you who voted for me to come into this position. I'm really excited about it, to continue the work here in Granville County, and hope I continue to make you proud of the work we're doing.
Thank you. Any comments?
Mr. Chairman. Yes. I'd just like to say that Wendy is an exceptional employee. She does more for the people in our county that have food insecurities than anybody I know. She works diligently for the Farm to Fridge program. She works hard for the farmers and local business men and women to be able to sell their items at the Oxford Farmers Market, of which I have been somebody who's went over and sold stuff. And it is just a joy to see somebody that works so hard for the people in our county. She also works with the 4-H. She's president of North Carolina Cattlemen's Association, or the Granville County Cattlemen's Association. And this lady is working 24 hours a day, it seems. I don't know how she does anything. And her children are involved in 4-H programs. And I just want to say I really appreciate you, and I look forward to many times working with you in the future. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to echo Commissioner Griffin comments. Wendy, you've been invaluable for the people of Granville County. That's all I can say. I appreciate everything you do for this county. Thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And we appreciate it all you do.
Go ahead, Mr. Chair. Well, Wendy, thank you. And thank you for not forgetting us folks south of the Tar River. And that's an inside joke, but thank you very much. But if you could, folks don't really, outside of us, they don't know you. So would you just tell us a little about who Wendy Tatum is?
Well, most of you can read very well, but I've been around these parts for a while, but I did leave because I was a little, I think some people forget how educated people in agriculture have to be, and so I left that looking for the money, the whole thing, and I've traveled abroad. I lived in Puerto Rico, and I can speak Spanish fluently, but most of all, I loved teaching. But I got to the point where teaching was not enjoyable anymore. But in this role, I get to teach, and I get to play in the sandbox with everybody, from politicians all the way down to any of our community partners. And it's a joy to work and do the things that I do. And I do not work 24/7. If it wasn't for people, and there's plenty of them in this room that are volunteers, I couldn't do what I do. So I don't want to take all the credit. Yes, I like to, plan and execute things, but if it wasn't for them, I couldn't do it.
Thank you.
So Wendy, I'm glad you're on board fully with Granville County. I know the branding's not quite as cool with the old A&T and NC State with that whatever red they decided on, but I'm glad to have you on board. I know that it seems like a didn't even happen at some point, but the government shut down for some 40-odd days. And folks were really worried and stressed out. And I was presenting some people and explaining to them that, some of the SNAP benefits had been released, and explaining to them that what the county was doing. Talked about the Farm to Fridge program, talked about ECIM, mentioned your name, and people were like, oh, okay, well, Wendy's involved, everything's good. So just want to put that out there in the STEM community, that your reputation precedes you, and it's a very good thing, and you've done great work. So I hope that continues. I'm sure it will. So glad to have you on board.
And Wendy, thank you so much for all that you do. And well, you know how much we appreciate you. We made a position, so to speak. So that's how much we value your work, and we certainly appreciate all that you do. And thank you. Is it, anyone else have anything to say? All right. Well, thank you so much. All right. Our next item on our agenda is proclamation recognizing the Falls Lake Academy varsity volleyball team for winning the 2025 North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A state champions. And do we have a presenter for Falls Lake? Okay. Yes. Yeah. And now, there you go. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having us. First and foremost, the pictures that are coming up on the monitor up here are some of the moments that we are going to hold on to for a lifetime. It's the moments of our state championship win, where we played at Wake Forest and Lawrence Joel Memorial Stadium. And it was amazing because we are the first team to win a state championship at Wake Forest. So that's kind of an added bonus for us. These are pictures of some of the girls where we're actually playing in, I'm not sure which game that is, but celebrating and just playing a sport they love. At the end of the day, I think the reason why this group is so successful is because it all comes back to how much they love this sport. The program is something that they have bought into, something they have given their tireless hours for almost 3.5 months that I demand of them to come in after school and practice and play. And so these are just some of the players in their moments of execution. And then, of course, our state championship picture right there where we're with our fan club that came and supported us all the way in Winston-Salem. So.
Okay, thank you. And now the board has prepared a proclamation, and I'd like to invite you and the team to come up on the stage, if you will. And y'all bear with me, this is a challenge. I have trouble walking and chewing bubble gum at the same time, and juggling this and a microphone is a real challenge. So, the Falls Lake Academy varsity volleyball team, known as the Firebirds, achieved outstanding athletic success by capturing the 2025 North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A Volleyball State Championship on October 31st, 2025 at Lawrence Joel Memorial Coliseum in Winston-Salem. And under the leadership of head coach Karina Sammons, the Firebirds completed an exceptional 28-4 season and secured the program's third state championship, adding to titles previously won in 2018 and 2019. Whereas senior Sandy Buffalo earned the title of Most Valuable Player for her exceptional performance, while Maggie Penn received the NCHSAA Sportsmanship Award for demonstrating integrity and respect on and off the court. Whereas the Firebirds displayed remarkable teamwork, determination, and sportsmanship, rallying from a first set loss to defeat NC Leadership Academy in 4 sets, 22-25, 25-17, 25-20, 25-11. And this accomplishment brings great pride to Falls Lake Academy, its students, families, faculty, and the broader Granville County community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Granville County Board of Commissioners proudly recognizes and congratulates the Falls Lake Academy varsity volleyball team and head coach Karina Salmons for their 2025 NCHSA 1A state championship victory this 17th day of November 2025. And y'all can read Karen's signature, but I don't know who signed the other part. Thank you all. And does anyone have anything they'd like to say? Oh, come on, don't be shy. I need the microphone.
Mr. Chairman, would it be okay, would we have time for each young lady to give us our name, their name? We know our name.
Yes, please. We'll put you on the spot.
Yeah.
My name is Claire Glavin, and I'm a senior at Falls Lake Academy, and me and all the seniors have been with this program since we were in middle school.
I'm Mackenzie Hudson, and I'm a junior at Falls Lake Academy.
I'm Devaney Wampler. I'm a freshman at Falls Lake Academy.
My name's Caroline Sellers, and I'm a sophomore at Falls Lake Academy.
My name's Lily Voss, and I'm a junior at Falls Lake Academy.
My name is Tessa Zurich, and I'm a senior at Falls Lake Academy. Okay, my name is Kate DeZurich, and I'm a senior at Falls Lake Academy.
My name is Maggie Penn, and I'm a senior.
My name is Sadie Buffalo, and I'm a senior at Falls Lake Academy.
My name is Addison Buffalo, and I'm a sophomore at Falls Lake Academy.
My name is Montana Preddy, and I'm a senior at Falls Lake Academy.
Karina Salmons, and I'm a freshman. Just kidding. Head coach.
Tracy Ruffin, assistant coach.
Well, thank you all. We appreciate each and every one of you, and cherish this for the rest of your life, because I never accomplished anything like that. Well, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And once again, let's give a round of applause to Falls Lake Academy. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, I know we've got faculty and parents of Falls Lake Academy, but I also wanted to point out you've got your the director, Mr. Joey Johnson, with us this evening. He's the director of the Falls Lake Academy, so just want to make sure you understood he was here.
Yeah.
And I think we have the athletic director as well.
Okay, if we're ready, let's move on to our next item, and that's public comments. And I understand no one signed up for public comments tonight. And now public health matters, and we'll move on to item 10 on our agenda, and that is the Granville County Board of Commissioners is committed to, oops, I'm on the wrong page. I'm having one of those nights.
There you go.
Okay. And Public Health Matters, approval of Blue Cross Blue Shield sponsorship agreement for Naloxone Dispenser and supplies totaling $10,000. And for several months, the Granville Opioid Advisory Committee has been discussing the need to increase access to naloxone throughout the county. And, oh, I'm sorry. Kathy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thunder. Please. please,
I'm just up here to answer questions.
please take it away and walk us through this. Thank you.
Okay, so the purpose statement may be a little confusing because we're not using opioid settlement money to purchase this naloxone dispenser. The value of the dispenser is worth $10,000. The worth of the donation is $10,000. So Blue Cross of North Carolina has worked with other counties to donate dispensers, naloxone dispensers. So this would be a temperature-controlled outdoor dispenser that would be located outside the probation office on Wall Street. And we've got both the permission from the Board of Elections as well as the Adult Corrections Office to locate it there. And I would be responsible for filling it with the dispensers. We are asked by the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, OSTAT, the Opioid Settlement Technical Assistance Team, to at least try to collect some data on people who are using, so in terms of just basic demographic. So the plan is to have a QR code. I will tell you up front, though, that other counties that have done that have found that it doesn't work. People don't use the QR code, but we have to at least make an effort. And the dispenser would be holding boxes of naloxone, wound care kits that would include the bandages and antiseptic, along with test strips. So, and all of that, the wound care even may not happen just because we have to fit it, so it may just end up being naloxone. So that's where we are with that.
And then the opioid advisory committee recommends that the Board of Commissioners approve the Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina sponsorship agreement that will be used to fund the purchase of a temperature-controlled naloxone and authorize the county manager to execute the contract once approved by the county attorney. And what is the pleasure of the board?
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
I do too. I have a
Okay, go ahead.
Kathy, the $10,000 was donated by Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Well, that's the value of
okay.
the donation.
So they bought the dispenser.
So they will be buying the dispenser from Schaefer Distributing.
But they are not purchasing the contents. The contents are going to come from the opioid settlement funds.
So the balance of whatever is left over from the actual purchase price will be used to purchase naloxone for the machine. But moving forward, we can typically get the naloxone through a grant that the state has, so there's no cost typically to get the naloxone. Yeah.
Commissioner May.
Good evening.
Hello, Commissioner.
So the contents are provided by who?
I'll be providing the contents on a regular basis.
Not Blue, but the initial is provided by Blue Cross Blue Shield or provided by Granville County?
I will, well, that's a good question. I think probably, I will probably be the one purchasing and then getting Blue Cross to reimburse, yeah.
So is the intent of this machine to be for Narcan
That's the, yes, that's to,
alone? And then we're adding to those things?
well, other counties have included wound care kits. So it's, because it's your typical vending machine, it has to be retrofitted. So it's a question of if that's really doable.
And we're providing the test strips?
Yes.
Could we just do Narcan and the wound care kit?
We can.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? All right, then we'll entertain the motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move that we approve the recommendation.
All right, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have second in two places, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right. Do the nays want a roll call vote?
No, and just for explanation, I'm good with the Narcan, obviously, and the wound care. I'm not good with the test strips.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounded like the ayes have it, so we'll declare the motion carried, and we'll move on to our next item, which is approval of resolution to authorize expenditure of opioid settlement funds for Blue Cross Blue Shield Naloxone dispenser, and this is on page 42 in our agenda. And Kathy, you want to walk us through this one?
Yep, so this is for actual funding that would come from the opioid settlement funds to prepare the site. Working with Scott Phillips, he's kindly got us some estimates regarding probably needing a canopy because we want to keep the dispenser weather protected. And we're going to need an electrical outlet. I think that's about it. There might be some leveling needed, or some sort of platform that we would need to put it on, but. So it's minimal, but it's a one-time cost.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Well, hearing no questions, we'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, I think the ayes have it, motion carries. Our next item on the agenda is resolution to direct expenditure of opioid funds, naloxone distribution, and this is on page 46 in our agenda. And Kathy, we're gonna keep you busy tonight.
That's okay, I came prepared. The opioid advisory committee would like to spend up to $25,000, and this, remind you, is on a reimbursement basis, so no money actually gets spent unless it's spent. It's not like a grant. But the idea and the hope is that we can put a dispenser, an naloxone dispenser, and I've included a catalog of what we're making available to organizations. So there's a combination of wall-mounted dispensers as well as freestanding. The freestanding would allow us to also include our treatment provider directories, as well as maybe a stack of our resource cards. Obviously the directories wouldn't fit in the wall-mounted, depending upon the size, but no, this would be primarily for naloxone. We could include some wound care kits as well. And it's just nice to be able to give organizations a choice of what works for them. So we have a nice selection of different dispensers for folks. And these would all be inside because none of these are temperature controlled.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question for Kathy. Explain to me, and I'm sorry, but I'm not very educated on this. What is the wound care kit and what is it? What does it do? What is the purpose?
Yeah, so wound care would be the bandages and antiseptic, so that people who develop wounds, whether it be from using injections or sadly when there is xylazine included in their drug supply, wounds can appear anywhere on the body. It's not where drugs get injected. So it's a way of taking care of those wounds, and then in time, hopefully they'll see a provider beyond that. But we want to be able to triage in the meantime. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
This is item 13 in the revised section 13.2, am I correct?
No.
No, this is item 12.
My apologies.
Any other questions for Kathy? then, we'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval. Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
What items comes in this?
So in the freestanding, we would definitely include naloxone. Naloxone would be in all the dispensers. And then probably in the freestanding, we'd like to include some wound care as well as a supply of treatment provider directories and resource cards.
The agenda item says test strips. Is that included?
Pardon me?
The agenda item for this one says test strips as well.
Test strips. If you would prefer not to include test strips, we don't need to include test strips. I will leave that up.
And I'm gonna ask again, what does the test strip do?
So the test strip, because the test strip is, we've got fentanyl test strips as well as xylazine test strips. And those are for people who use drugs can test their drugs to see if it includes fentanyl and/or xylazine. I mean, it would be nice to be able to include them, but if that's going to prohibit the use of the passage of this resolution, I'd rather get the naloxone distributed, quite frankly.
I make a motion we approve without test strips.
Okay, we have a motion to approve without test. We have a motion to approve without test strips. Do I hear a second?
But wasn't there already a motion?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
He
sorry.
made the motion to approve it.
So is that a motion to amend?
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. So Tim made it, Commissioner Karen made the motion to approve as is that correct?
Right, but Russ would like to make, Commissioner May would like to amend it.
Amend it without.
And it was second, because I second.
Yeah, okay. Motion and a second. And Commissioner May, you wish, where do we stand here? Jim, I just want to be sure we're right.
I think they can choose to accept an amendment if they want to do that.
Commissioner Karen, do you choose to accept an amendment?
The importance is we get this naloxone out on the street. So yes.
I think you need to ask Mr. J as well. I mean, there was a motion that was already been seconded.
Do you approve?
Are you in agreement with the amended motion? Are you in agreement amending the
Agreement
motion?
not putting the test strips on? Not really.
Okay.
Does he want to?
Commissioner May, do you wish? We have a motion and a second without any stipulations.
I'm not going to withdraw. If not enough votes to support it, so we can take the vote, and the board approves, it approves.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion as originally stated? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All
Mr.
those
Chairman,
in favor-
just for a point, Kathy mentioned it, but not very strongly. We've got this opiate settlement money, and the naloxone being out, first and foremost, this is not just the lower parts of society. This is everybody, young, old, in between, and we've got to do something.
And I don't disagree. I just disagree with the test strips.
Okay.
If I can just make a comment, and Commissioner May, I totally appreciate, but at the same time, if someone could test the, what's it called? The drug before they use it, because fentanyl is what kills people, is that correct?
Yes, fentanyl and xylazine both.
Okay, so I'm gonna be very political, I'm on the fence on this one, but I do think we need to get the Naloxone out there, but if somebody would test it before they used it, it could save a life. I guess that's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Ask him why
So-
he's opposed.
Sir?
Why is he opposed?
Thank you. That's my comment.
Is there any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna make sure we know what we vote, what I'm voting on.
Yeah, the original
motion.
The original motion.
Okay.
With, which includes the test strips.
Okay. Aye.
Yeah, let's try again. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
It appears the ayes have it. Do the nays have any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. And our next item on the agenda is item number 13, and this is approval of the contract with North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition. And we have a walk-in item 13.1 and a revised agenda item 13.2. And I believe everyone has these. Kathy, do you have these?
I think these were for me to take, and I'll let Kathy chime in. This has been subject to much discussion amongst the board. And I want to make sure I'm looking at it correctly. So 13.1 amended 13, and then 13.2, okay. So 13.1 is a walk-in item, and this is an amended resolution revising authorized opioid settlement strategy for the NC Harm Reduction Coalition. This matter came on back in June before the board, at which time the commissioners adopted a resolution authorizing the expenditure of opioid settlement funds for the NC Harm Reduction Coalition under strategy number 9, Syringe Services Program, as outlined in Exhibit A of the statewide memorandum governing opioid settlement proceeds. The original 2025 resolution is attached for reference. Following internal review and discussion, and this says with the Harm Reduction Coalition, I'm not sure that the Harm Reduction Coalition was involved in any discussions. So it should read, following internal review and discussion with county leadership, revision, and this was discussed at an agenda meeting, revisions to the agenda item have been prepared to remove references to syringe and contraceptive distribution. In addition, an amended resolution has been drafted to change the authorized strategy from strategy number 9, Syringe Services Program, to strategy number 7, Naloxone Distribution Services. The scope of work award amount of $50,000 for the contract period, and the provider, the North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition, remain unchanged. The amended resolution is attached for board consideration and adoption. It updates the authorized expenditure strategy and replaces a prior resolution adopted June 16th, 2025. And I would point you specifically in the revised resolution to paragraph F, and I'll read that to you. Description of the, and so again, we're switching from strategy number 9, which is syringe services, to naloxone distribution. This paragraph F describes it. A description of program, project, or activity. NC Harm Reduction Coalition plans to increase access to those certain items described herein. There's certain herein described harm reduction supplies in Granville County for those who use drugs to reduce harms from drugs and decrease the likelihood of overdose and the spread of disease. North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition will establish 2 or 3 locations within Granville County where an outreach worker will be available each month to provide those certain harm reduction supplies specifically identified in the subrecipient agreement for the implementation of opioid abatement services entered into between Granville County and the Harm Reduction Coalition. In addition, the Harm Reduction Coalition will also create a peer-led harm reduction distribution system to increase access to harm reduction resources on a regular and sustainable basis. The Harm Reduction Coalition will be available to community partners to provide training in naloxone administration and to assist with its ordering. And again, that's dependent on item 13.2, which is a subrecipient agreement for implementation of opioid abatement strategies. And the key thing here, again, the concerns that were raised by commissioners at the agenda meeting involved distribution of the syringes and the contraceptives. And so there are 2 real changes. If you go to 13.2 and look at the Exhibit B, Appendix B, which is materials and supplies, it says harm reduction supplies, including naloxone, wound care items, e.g. Meta Honey, gauze, antibiotic ointment, participant assistance supplies, and that's described as providing a small budget for outreach workers to distribute healthy snacks, bottles of water, socks, and feminine hygiene products. The other change to that appendix was the reduction of indirect costs. There was I believe a 10% indirect cost amount that was allocated here, and the settlement does not allow indirect costs to be included. So the overall total budget was revised downward, and so the total estimated spend is $45,410.50, but the maximum not to exceed award remains $50,000. So again, it took out the indirect cost. I'll be happy to answer any questions and certainly welcome any input from Kathy on that matter.
Any questions? Kathy, you have any questions?
I sure do. So I'm disappointed in the revisions that are being made. The North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition has been working in Granville, working with Granville Advanced Public Health for years. But I just wanted to provide some information from a government website. This is from hiv.gov, which was updated on October 3rd of this year, and it states, regarding syringe service programs, nearly 30 years of research shows that comprehensive SSPs, or syringe service programs, are safe, effective, and cost-effective, do not increase illegal drug use or crime, and play an important role in reducing the transmission of viral hepatitis, HIV, and other infections. They also play an important role in improving the health of people who inject drugs. People who use syringe service programs are 5 times more likely to enter drug treatment and 3 times more likely to stop injecting drugs. We also know that the syringe service programs, the SSPs, and specifically our North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition, is a bridge to providing care, to getting people to other forms of care. And often our own, community worker with North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition goes to people's homes. She's essentially making house calls to provide safe supplies for them to use safely and so that they don't contract disease. I might add that the opioid settlement funding is private funding. It is not federal funding. There are restrictions on federal funding. The opioid settlement money is private funding, which gives us much more latitude. The SSP is an evidence-based strategy that has been approved by the North Carolina Memorandum of Agreement. The North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition is an approved SSP by the state of North Carolina. So it's my hope that they would be able to continue to provide syringes. The input that we're getting from data collection is that is a critical element in using drugs safely. It's all about keeping people alive. And let me reinforce something. People are going to use dirty needles. They're going to be using syringes. Whether they're dirty or clean, we would prefer that they be clean so they don't contract disease. Yes, we don't want people using drugs, but by offering an SSP and providing safe supplies, people are more likely to get to treatment and be successful in long-term recovery.
Okay. Do you have any further comments?
Not on this particular issue.
Okay. Any comments or questions from our board members?
So I have one quick question about possession of drug paraphernalia. I mean, I'm reading the statute. It looks like it's a crime to possess or distribute drug paraphernalia. So, I mean, how does that fit with the needle distribution?
The equipment and supplies provided by syringe service programs are approved. So if it's someone else that is not approved as a syringe service program, that's a different situation. But these are syringe service programs who are providing safe supplies for people to use safely.
Aren't we operating as, if someone needed a syringe to go to the health department, is it correct? Can they go to the health department?
That's a good question, Commissioner. I'm not sure if we just hand them out. I don't think we do.
So
Honestly, I don't
we
know.
have programs in which they can?
We're not the health department is not a syringe service program.
So we're don't doing any needle exchanges in Granville County anywhere. I'm pretty.
We're not, the North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition is the only.
I'm talking about them, to public health.
We don't do needle exchange at the health department. Yeah.
So any reason why we wouldn't use the health department, a safe place?
Well, we would need to become qualified. I mean, I honestly can't answer
So what
that.
would be the
That's
difference between that and harm reduction?
I'm sorry, pardon me?
What would be the legal difference between that and the harm reduction program?
I don't know what would be involved. That's a Lisa Harrison question. I'm sorry, I can't answer that.
Any other questions? Okay.
Under the statute, a health department is it appears to be one of the places that can operate and establish a needle and a hypodermic exchange program.
Is that, when you say that, County Attorney, is that throughout the state, or is that individual counties can decide on that? How does that?
It says any governmental or and I don't pretend to be an expert on this, I just looked up the statute when it was being discussed. Any governmental or non-governmental organization, including a local or district health department or an organization that promotes scientifically proven ways of mitigating health risk associated with drug use and other high-risk behaviors, may establish and operate a needle and hypodermic syringe exchange program. The objectives of the program, and it sets out the objectives, but it looks like a health department would be included in one of the groups that could do that.
But let me also add that the benefit of working with the North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition is that they're going to people's homes as opposed to making people come to us. And that's a huge service because transportation is an issue. And so at least we are in a better position of making sure that we're saving lives and preventing transmission of disease by being able to do that.
And a question, Jim, which what you just read, are you saying that if I'm an addict, I can go to the hospital, I can go to the health department and get a needle?
I think that, no, not exactly. The health department could establish and operate a needle and hypodermic syringe exchange program. So they could start a program and as a health department operate that program just like the Harm Reduction Coalition can. So they could have that program, and I would assume they could have it at the health department or some other location, but it says a district or county health department or local or district health department can operate a syringe exchange program.
But that doesn't mean that our county is operating. The
No.
program has to be set up. Is that correct?
It has to be operated, and whether they operate in one, I can't answer.
Okay, that would be a Lisa question.
Yeah, I know that we don't do needle exchanges right now. Whether we can, I don't know. But I also just want to reiterate, it's so much more than just syringes, providing sterile syringes. It's also providing connection. And that is such an important component of what the Harm Reduction Coalition does. People connecting with people. And that's just so critically important. And that may be an invaluable factor that's keeping people alive. And then eventually seeking treatment.
Okay, anyone else have any questions or comments or?
I mean, bottom line, I just want to see us to be able to continue to work with the Harm Reduction Coalition. So that's just critically important.
Okay. Well, the Opioid Advisory Committee and Granville Vance Public Health recommend that the Board of Commissioners approve the subrecipient agreement with the North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition.
Let's be clear, this one, the subrecipient agreement you have here before you is, I don't know that it's gone back to the opioid advisory committee. This is the one, when it was brought up at the agenda meeting, was discussed that there were concerns about both the syringe exchange program and the contraceptive distribution. And it was discussed that then what I understood from that discussion and subsequent discussions with commissioners is that the idea was to limit it to the naloxone, the wound care, and the other products that were mentioned earlier, without the syringes and contraceptives being included. And so that is, to my knowledge, that has not been recommended by the health department. Those changes haven't been recommended by the health department or the opioid advisory committee.
Okay, thank you.
So you're saying that neither one of those haven't read the
Sorry.
update?
I'm saying that when you all had your agenda meeting, that this was discussed there and brought back to agenda review and discussed with the commissioners at that point.
Right, but it haven't been back to the.
It has not been back.
I'm concerned too that the Harm Reduction Coalition has been providing services since July 1. And I want to see that they get payment for their services. The contract period is only for 1 year, ending June 30th.
There was never a signed contract that would allow them to provide services because of the controversy surrounding this item that held it up. So
The resolution was passed 6-1, and so it's important that they
the
were able
resolution
to
may have been
provide.
passed, but there was not a pre-audited and signed contract that would be required to spend funds under the contract.
So, yes, well, be that as it may, it was never made clear to me that a contract needed to be in place, and frankly, it's been quite some time. But in any event, I think it's really important that we continue. If the desire is to not include syringes, I can communicate that back to them.
Can we, Mr. Chairman, may I make a
Yes.
comment? So is this something that should come back to the opioid committee and we clear up some of the confusion, or?
Honestly, I don't think there would be any point to it because you all have discussed the exclusion of syringes, and that apparently is what the majority of you all felt in order to have that recommendation, the edit to the contract. So I would rather keep moving forward. We only have 7 more months left, and I really want to see them active in the community helping people.
Okay, if we decided later that we wanted to add syringes, can that be done?
Yeah, yes, that can be amended.
Okay, my understanding of the walk-in item is this is without syringes.
It's without syringes and without contraceptives. And
Yes.
so the walk-in item, the walk-in item is the resolution that needed to be revised to support the subrecipient agreement. And then the subrecipient agreement is as it was in the agenda.
Okay. Is there any questions, any more discussion?
Oh, I do. Can we make a motion that we, at this point, add the syringes, but not the contraceptives?
You can make a motion.
At this point, I'd like to have a motion on the walk-in item as stated, but if you want to include that, you can. So do I hear any more discussion? And what is the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion the revised be approved.
We have a motion that the revised walk-in item be approved. Do I hear a second?
Does that include items 13.1 and 13.2?
I'm specifically addressing the syringes and contraceptives.
But you're addressing the resolution and the subrecipient agreement, correct?
Is that the same language?
It's the same language in both of them,
Okay, which would exclude those two items.
right?
For 13.1 and 13.2.
Correct.
Okay. All right. We have a motion. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? Third and final time, if we don't get a second, the motion will die on the vine.
I second.
We have a second. Now that we have a motion and a second, is there any discussion on the motion?
Just for discussion purposes, the Harm Reduction Coalition, if they're not gonna be doing the syringes and the contraception, they're just gonna do naloxone? Is that what the plan in the wound care? Is that
Well,
it?
and also connecting people to other services.
So it's a touch point?
Connecting people to other needs.
So it's still a touch point though, right? They're still gonna go out, the harm reduction folks are still gonna be out doing their
In
thing?
the community.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's still a touch point?
Yeah.
Okay.
But just for clarification, this does not include syringes. Am I correct on that all the way around?
That was a motion.
That was the motion.
And on that motion, we can later on add syringes back to it.
You can add syringes to this, you can come up with another way to do syringes, you can do whatever the board votes to do about that.
Any other questions before we go to the vote? Any comments? All right, well, hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of 13.1, 13.2, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Let's see. I think I have 3 and 3. Is that correct? Okay. We'll go to roll call vote then.
District 1, Zelotes J. District 2, Rob Williford. District 3, Mark Griffin.
Yes.
He does it.
District 4, Tony Cozart.
Nay.
District
Nay.
District 5,
Yes.
Russ May.
Yes.
District 6, Tim Karen.
Aye.
And District 7.
Aye. Let's get something rolling here. Motion carries 4-3. All right, the next item on our agenda is approval of the contract with Central Community Services LLC for expenditure of opioid settlement funds. And Kathy, we're back on you again.
Well, I don't think this has the controversy that the previous contract had. This is pretty straightforward. So Central Community Services has been providing services at the Granville Jail, but they would like to, and they've been focusing primarily on mental health. Now with the MOUD program starting up at the jail, they are in a position to provide reentry services to those individuals who've been participating in the MOUD program, and that means they'd be connecting people, reinstating, helping to reinstate identification, helping with housing, helping with employment, connecting to continuation of substance treatment services, and a variety of things. They would be actually participating in the detainee-centered, person-centered planning for reentry upon their release. So it provides some nice continuity for services that are happening inside the jail and then continuing outside.
Okay. And we have the agreement for the implementation of the opioid abatement strategies. I trust everyone's had time to read through this. Does anyone have any questions for Kathy? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear-
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Yeah, hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Thank you. Development Services update. I guess, thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. Thank you. Too busy trying to get to the next item on the agenda. Thank you. And this is, Scott, this is, the first up is award of contract for roof replacement at Orange Street Community Center building. And this is on page 84 of our agenda.
Thank you very much. The aging roof system at Orange Street Community Center building needs replacement. The existing roof system installed by Kimball Roofing in 2006 has undergone frequent repairs as well as moisture-related structural repairs to the roof structure in the past 5 years. In preparation of the work, Granville County retained REI engineers to provide a roof assessment and design for the replacement. Bid proposals based on REI's engineers' plans and project specifications were received on October 16th with the following results. As you can see, Penham Construction came in at a low bid price of $78,513.74. I'd probably estimate that the market value for this roof is around $115,000, so $78,000 is a good price. This procurement procedure is in accordance with Section 2 informal bids of the Granville County Contract and Purchasing Policy. Funding for this item is the following consideration of this item, and companion budget amendment number 7 is included in the agenda for approval to appropriate $86,013.74 from general fund balance to fiscal year 25-26 roofing projects. The recommendation is to award the fixed price construction service contracts to Penham Construction for the amount not to exceed $78,513.74 unless authorized by an approved change request, and authorize the county attorney to finalize the contract, the county manager execute the contract document. Furthermore, we request $7,500 in contingencies to be added to the project budget to cover any unforeseen conditions that may result, that may increase the contract cost. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Phillips, once the contract, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? What type of time frame, when do they expect to start, and what length of time will it
It's
take?
45-day construction schedule. I'd say probably gonna start in the next 45 to 60 days.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Any comments? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve, but I'm also going to ask that we identify in the lease, as I've had a discussion with both Commissioner Jay and Commissioner Cozart. In the lease, we have a stated government purpose for that lease, and that we continue to review that lease at the end of the lease term for further review by the board.
A second motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. and, motion carries as stated.
Thank you.
And now, our next item is, Budget Amendment 7 for fiscal year 25-26, and that's on page 95 of our agenda, and, thank you, Jennifer. We're ready.
So I'm here to talk about the budget amendment that's directly related to the contract approval. And $71,270 was in the FY25 budget. Because it was not encumbered to a specific project, it went into the general fund balance. So we are going to reappropriate that $71,270 from the general fund balance and an additional $14,744 to reach the $86,014 to cover the cost of the fixed price contract and contingency.
Do we need a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? We'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. And, planning is, let's get to the land of, I was gonna read that. Thank you. The purpose is to conduct a legislative hearing regarding a proposed land development code LDC text amendment that would change the number of regular members of the Granville County Board of Adjustments from 7 to 5 members. And the amendment would also make technical changes to section 32-992 of the LDC as pertains to the Board of Adjustment. And, I now declare, the public hearing open and, turn it over to Mr. Barry Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I want to state that all public notice as required by local and state law have been accomplished for the hearing. It is an amendment to the LDC that would change the number of regular members on the Board of Adjustment from 7 to 5. The amendment would also make technical changes to section 32-992 of the Land Development Code. Okay. The technical changes include removing language regarding membership appointments from when the Board of Adjustment was originally created. This is again to the Land Development Code of 32-992. Make clear that the BOA hears more than just appeals and clearly establishes that a quorum is 4 regular and/or alternate members being present. And the Planning Board written consistency statement is in your agenda. And the Planning Board 7-0 unanimously recommended approval of the ordinance text amendment at their October 16th meeting. Be happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Baker? Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against this? Yeah. I don't see anyone rising to speak for or against it, so we will declare the public hearing closed. Now, next item, we need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the recommendation from our planning board be approved in reference to the proposed land development code amendment.
Thank you, Commissioner Cozart. Do I hear a second? Second. We have a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. And then our next item is appointments. Did we want to pull item 18? There was some question. Kathy, do you want to pull item 18?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, so we have more time to discuss.
Okay. We will pull item 18 and move it to our December meeting. Thank you. And then 19 is approval of adjusted term lengths and staggered terms for the Animal Control Advisory Committee. And this is on page 108 of our agenda book. And this is to approve adjusted term limits, the term lengths and staggered terms for member of the Animal Control Advisory Committee to ensure balanced rotation and continuity of membership across districts and designated seats. As part of a countywide effort to align advisory board membership structures, the Animal Control Advisory Committee requires adjusted term expiration dates to achieve a uniform 3-year rotation. This approach maintains consistent turnover, enhances representation, and prevents multiple concurrent vacancies. The proposed staggering also brings this committee into alignment with Granville County's standard advisory board practices. And recommendations, the chair, vice chair, Commissioner Jay, Clerk Karen Evans, and Deputy Clerk Jessica Todd recommend transitioning the Animal Control Advisory Committee from 2-year to 3-year staggered terms as follows. District 1, District 3, and District 3, terms to expire February 2027. District 2, District 4, Humane Society Representative, terms to expire February 26. And District 5, District 7, and a Veterinarian Representative, terms to expire February 2028. And is there any questions, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution or the.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? We have a second. Thank you. And is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. And then our next item on our agenda is item number 20, and that's approval of staggered terms for the Citizens Advisory Committee for Environmental Affairs, and this is on page 110 in our package. Okay. And the purpose of this is to approve adjusted term lengths and staggered terms for members of the Citizens Advisory Committee for environmental affairs to ensure equitable rotation and continuity across districts. As part of the broader review of county advisory board composition and term structures, adjustments are recommended to establish a balanced 3-year rotation for the Citizens Advisory Committee for Environmental Affairs. This change promotes consistent district representation while preventing multiple concurrent vacancies. And again, the recommendation is by me and our Vice Chair, Zelotes J., Clerk Karen Evans, and Deputy Clerk Jessica Todd. Recommend maintaining 3-year terms for the Citizens Advisory Committee for Environmental Affairs and implementing staggering as follows. Districts 1 through 4, terms to expire January 2028, and Districts 5 through 7 retain the current term expirations. Is there any questions? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we make the motion to change the Citizens Advisory Committee for Environmental Affairs to the recommendation of the chairman, vice chairman, clerk, and deputy clerk.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Now we'll get down to our county manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 3 quick items this evening. The first is just to let you and the public know that county administration and county finance have been working very closely with Granville County Public Schools on some much-needed capital improvements and deferred maintenance. It's very important that a number of these projects move forward this coming summer of 2026. And so while we work on permanent financing for that work, the county has offered the schools at sort of an advance loan of $1 million to make sure that the work proceeds smoothly and is ready to go in the summer. Second item is another note about Granville County Public Schools. I think as commissioners and some in the public are aware, both Butner STEM Elementary School and the Mary Potter campus have both been vacated by the public school system. And while there is some thought that one or both of those facilities may be offered to the county, I wanted to make it clear that to date, that has not happened. So we have not been offered officially either of those facilities. And final note, and I think Scott may have left for the evening, but I wanted to thank him and Stephen and other staff, Gary and Josh Roberson, our new Assistant Director for Facility Maintenance, for really putting some courthouse improvements on a fast track and putting a lot of effort into getting those moving. I know that the public and the stakeholders in the courthouse will greatly appreciate that, and I want them to know that I also appreciate it. So, Mr. Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have one thing for open session and then one thing for attorney-client privilege and closed session. So the open session matter, this involves City of Oxford litigation. As you're aware, the county filed suit against the City of Oxford because it improperly rezoned the Hunt Farm and Perry Farm developments. While the city has not expressly acknowledged that these rezonings were void and ineffective, since the county filed its complaint, the city has taken corrective actions as requested by the county prior to filing its complaint by complying with the procedures required under state law for annexation and rezoning. Specifically, the city took the following actions with respect to both the Hunt Farm and Perry Farm developments. At their June meeting, the city considered petitions for non-contiguous annexation and directed the city clerk to investigate the sufficiency of those petitions. At the July meeting, the city accepted the clerk's sufficiency statements regarding the annexation petitions, scheduled public hearings for August to consider annexation, and scheduled public hearings to determine appropriate zoning classifications should annexation occur. At their August meeting, the city held public hearings on annexations, adopted the annexation ordinances, conducted hearings on the proposed zoning classifications, assigned zoning classifications, and adopted consistency and reasonableness statements. In summary, the city proceeded to take the remedial actions necessary to resolve the issues identified in our complaint. As a result of these actions, the lawsuit is moot and a dismissal of the case is appropriate. So we would ask that you authorize us to dismiss the case at this point in time.
Mr. Chairman, if we need a motion under the advice of our county attorney, I will make the motion that we
instruct us to dismiss the case.
Instruct the county attorney to dismiss the case.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second in two places. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Okay, thank you. And then we have an item for closed session, attorney-client privilege. All right, and next is our presentation by our commissioners, and we're going to start off tonight with Commissioner Mark Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things. I attended the hospital's opening of their new endoscopy center over on Lewis Street. Dr. Abraham is doing a great job with that center, and I'm just glad to see our hospital is making strides to make some major improvements in our hospital. You know, our hospital is one of the few rural hospitals in North Carolina that is still running and existing. And if you've not been over there, I encourage you to go by that hospital and look at all the wonderful improvements that has been made at that hospital. And the last thing is I just want to thank the maintenance staff. I've had a lot of people from the courthouse call me, walk up to me and tell me what a wonderful job the maintenance department is doing in making some of the changes and doing some of the much-needed projects in that courthouse. And I just want to tell them a personal thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Griffin. Commissioner Cozart.
Mr. Chairman, just want to say how much I enjoyed being in STEM for their Veterans and Christmas Parade combined. It was real good to be in that part of the county and see all the hard work that the people there put into it. I want to also just mention, I see Miss Vanessa Taylor from DSS up there. Just wanted to say to her and the team how much I appreciate their efforts and how proud I am of their work and working through numerous things with all the changes that's going on and those being proposed, and just appreciate your leadership. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner May.
No comments.
Commissioner Karen.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Okay. Commissioner Jay.
I'd just like to say that
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Williford.
I was able to attend 2 Veterans Day ceremonies, one at Creedmoor and one in Oxford. Couldn't make the one in Butner due to the Oxford and Butner being at the same time, but they were both excellent programs and well attended. And like to thank our veterans again for what they do, what they have done, and what they continue to do. Also, as Commissioner Griffin mentioned, the courthouse renovations, maintenance improvements are underway, and I'm glad to see that, and I appreciate the staff there. And I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. If you travel, be safe.
First of all, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and, if you're traveling, wish you safety in your travels, and you go and come and get home safely. I attended the STEM Veterans Day / Christmas Parade, and as always, enjoyed it. Enjoyed the fellowship with fellow commissioners and with the people from Creedmoor and people from STEM. Had a good time. Also, want to remember our veterans, and we had a really good service at Butner, and also they had a breakfast at Creedmoor. I couldn't stay and eat, not that I needed to eat, but I had things pressing. I couldn't stay for the entire thing, so I hate that I missed the program. Also, on a personal note, I'd like to thank my wife. She's put up with me for 10 years, which may not be long in some people's eyes, but I imagine it's a pretty long time in her eyes. But also, we need to, I think it's a good time to think about, all of us have someone at home waiting for us, and the sacrifices they make for us to be county commissioners, because our roles require several nights per month of being out, several meetings per week, and it's our schedules can get pretty demanding at times, and sometimes it seems like it takes over most of our family life. And think we need to, it's the time of year to be thankful, and I think, one of the things I'm thankful for is that, I've been able to do this. And my wife is, approved. So with that, is there, we have, other matters and, pardon me.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, may I just say one other thing? Commissioner Griffin made mention about our hospital. What a wonderful gala we had on Saturday night, and I was just honored to be there. And just want to just say how good it felt to see so many people there who support our hospital. And I even won one of the silent auction prizes Saturday night. But really good to see that kind of support. And of course, Attorney Wren, that Ms. Wren, she was recognized at that event, but we sure appreciate all her hard work in leading that effort along with the foundation. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you. And now that concludes our county commissioners' comments and presentations. And under any other matters, we have item 2 from our consent agenda. And this is to request board approval for adjustment to the hourly compensation rate for the Granville County EMS Medical Director. On July 1st, 2019, Granville County entered into an agreement with Dr. Ryan Bailey to provide medical direction for the Granville County Emergency Medical Services. At the time, the hourly rate was established at $180 per hour, consistent with the Wake Emergency Physicians PA, WEPPA independent contractor rate in effect at the time. Dr. Bailey has requested that his hourly rate be adjusted to reflect the upcoming WEPPA independent contractor rate, which will take effect on January 1st, 2026. The proposed new rate is $225 per hour. The funding, the additional cost for the remaining 6 months of the current fiscal year is estimated to be $5,400. A transfer from the fund balance will be required to cover this expense. And the Emergency Medical Director recommends approval of an increase in the hourly rate for the Granville County EMS Medical Director to $225 per hour effective January 1st, 2026, authorizing that future rate adjustments be made in accordance with the WEPPA independent contractor rate schedule, and further recommends that the contract amended be finalized by the county attorney and executed by the county manager. All right. Do any commissioners have any comments or concerns on this matter?
I do, Mr. Chair. Prior to the meeting tonight, I know I received some complaints regarding a screenshot from WRAL and alluding to that this was on like a full-time position and at that rate for a 365. And so I wanted, and I'll let Commissioner Williford explain what he received as well. And so I wanted us to have the opportunity to provide full disclosure to what this position does and what it actually is costing our county and the significance and the importance of this position,
Mr. Chairman, I also received several phone calls this afternoon, one after the other, and also received a screenshot. I was unaware that WRL had posted this on the news, and one of my citizens' constituents sent this to me. I was very appreciative. I did follow up with the county manager, who sent a very detailed explanation that Mr. Rivas has just described. So this position, based on 20 hours, is costing the county approximately $54,000 a year. And I think it's important that we note that we need these emergency room. I think is the right word.
Yeah. So just for clarification, in the current budget, it is allowed $43,200 for EMS medical direction.
Okay.
this will add for the remainder of the year 5,400. So the 54,000 would be next year's rate for the medical director.
Budget year
Next year's total.
26, 27.
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, and that's correct. He is 20 hours a month. It is not full-time at all.
I understand. I think it's important for the citizens of the county, for those that are either here or watching or listening, understand this. I don't think it was, Commissioner May and I discussed this a little earlier, that it was properly explained. So there was a lot of miscommunication, and I think we need to clear this up.
Yeah, and ultimately, he's over EMS.
I understand.
But he's the system itself, so it's the medical first responders with the fire department, as well as emergency medical dispatch, which runs through 911. So it's a lot he does in that little amount of time.
So if I'm correct, Mr. Rivas, it's a critical component to our EMS.
Yeah, it's required by law.
And it's required by law. Not only that, is that he is the medical advisor for our EMS and provides medical direction for our first responder program. And it is an essential piece of what we need and required to have.
Yes.
And clearly, by the rate, is clearly within bounds.
Correct.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any comments or questions? Yes.
Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it may also be relevant to some folks that Dr. Bailey is an emergency room doctor in our emergency room at Granville Medical Center. And I don't really know about his pay structure, but I think even the somewhat enhanced hourly rate that he gets for being our EMS medical director is far, far below what he makes for the rest of his work.
Yeah. And Jason, just for clarification, this averages about 20 hours a month.
That is correct. Now, he very often does not need 20 hours a month.
Okay.
This year has been a year where he's using a lot of that time, but that's mainly because there's a new EMS director with Granville Health, which is requiring more time with me, Dr. Bailey, and Justin, talking and working through some protocol changes.
Okay. But the thing is, this is not 20 hours a week. This is not 40 hours a week. This is basically 20 hours per month.
Correct.
And yeah, I think we need to find a way to correct the misinformation that the news media put out there. And I don't know if the county manager, the attorney wants to send a note to them.
I think it may be more an issue that there just wasn't very much information included in what they presented at all. I'm not aware that it was inaccurate. It just was partial information and didn't include a lot of the context that's been shared here tonight.
But my understanding is they reported that it was like $500,000 a year or something we were paying.
I think that may have been some back of the napkin math that citizens performed.
What, Commissioner Williford, what was the information you got? I know you're looking at it right now.
I am.
You're looking for it. Okay.
Well, I received a screenshot from a citizen, and it basically is covering Granville County is what the screenshot. Board of Commissioners proposal to increase EMS medical director pay $180 to $225 per hour, consistent with the Wake County Emergency Physicians Independent Contractor rate. And I think there was some math done that they figured it based on a full-time position, which would equate to approximately $468,000 a year.
And was this math done by the news media?
I don't know who did the math, sir.
Okay.
I don't know who did that. I don't know if the citizen that sent this to me did it or if that was reported. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we just want to make sure that the accurate number is out there for our citizens to know. And if there's misinformation being put out, we want to make sure that it's corrected. All right. Oh.
We need to vote on it.
Yes, we need to vote on it. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second. You got a tie.
Got a motion, a second in two places. Any discussion on on the motion?
No, but it's good that when these things come up, that they are discussed and that we give the information to the public and, regardless of how that this assumption was made, it was made. But at the end of the day it's good that we discuss it openly and they get the feedback back. And at the end of the day is that we've got a robust discussion. Explanation, excuse me.
Yes. Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion on the motion, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. So, is there any other business, any other matters coming before us tonight? Okay, hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to take a 5-minute break and come back in closed session.
Make a motion, we do that.
Second.
Do I hear 10? Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to come back in 5 minutes in closed session. All those in favor, aye?